I think that the idea was to create a conversation between different parts of the community through the workshop process. Do you think the workshop process enabled the young people you saw to engage in a conversation with different kinds of people?
Well, practical examples, I think, and I was working mostly with Supreet, who's a Sikh from India, and coming from Finland, coming from India, going to a very local community in Bradford, part of the kind of generative tension that happened was the fact that the artists were so different from the people that you're working with. So in a way, I think being an outsider, because you're an insider, so me on the contrary, being an outsider, created a lot of this kind of almost not friction, but this very creative energies that we could use in the workshop. So
the kids said that's one of the things that they really enjoyed, that they got to meet different kinds of people, with the artists, but also each other, because the final radio play does have professional actors in it. It has young Muslims, boys and girls, and as well as that, I had my mother in it, so another generation, and white people, a middle-aged white professional actor with learning disabilities, and also some young actors with learning disabilities. So they did meet other people in Bradford who weren't like them, and then on top of that, they had the impact of the artists. So the whole project came together in the small moments where the young people met their audiences and where they talked about the work. So I think that's the impact, is the connectivity that it enabled. Because the long-term impact we'll never know. Maybe in 20 years' time, they'll realise that it sparked something or a journey that they went on to take. Well, but we'll never know.
Well, they did get a lot of confidence from the workshop, so that was the visible change that you could see from the beginning towards the end, of the sheer fact that you had professionals that are dealing with quite high level of university educated, blah blah blah, other things. So the confidence that came out of the workshops afterwards and being able to show themselves and be proud of a product that they did. So because we are dealing with people who don't get that kind of boost and confidence. So I think that was the visible thing. Whether it's in the long term, it's going to be it's going to lead to bigger change. That's a different question. But I think just the process itself was such a empowering kind of an experience.
Exactly, and I think that's you're describing very well I think what the young people felt in the park, but they were able to share that feeling with strangers.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. I think there's ripples that come from that, so it's like you throw a stone in the pond, so once you have this little ripple of confidence happen, so they'll go somewhere else and they'll do something similar, and they'll demand more, so it's these minor changes, these small changes that I think are very important there. And also the fact that we did in the end still collaborate with some of the actors in the place. So like Farah, for instance, she's still around and she's going to be collaborating on the next project, and she'll become in that way kind of the next ripple of the pond that's going to move forward. So I think that's not worth discounting. I think it's very important.